Welcome back. This is Two Guys, One Movie, Punk Rock Poodle Edition. This is your host, Steve Arviso.
And Charles Musick.
And today we are talking about Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
Yes, a classic from the 80s. Actually, Elvira's really popular. Most people know her, but I don't know if a lot of people know she actually has her own movie.
Yeah, it was a big thing back then. It came out in, 89? So about 4 years after...
88.
88, oh, okay. Came out in 88, 3 years after Pee-wee's Big Adventure, which was her first real motion picture kind of cameo kind of thing. She played, for those who don't know, a bit of trivia, in that movie she plays the biker mama in the biker bar. Mm-hmm. The one that says, let me have him. Which actually, when they walked in the door, because I watched that movie recently, there's an Elvira poster on the wall. Is there? I never even noticed that one. We're big fans of that movie. We will be doing a full-on commentary and discussion and whatnot as we...
another fact, Pee-wee had Elvira in his movie. He was going to make an appearance in this movie, but unfortunately it was during the same time they were filming Big Top Pee-wee.
Yes. Unfortunately, we did not get that Paul Rubens cameo back then, but I think he's more than helped her out, or they've helped each other out since then.
Yes, definitely.
Yes. But Elvira, Mistress of the Dark is an actual film. It's not a made-for-TV film. This is not... a low-budget production.
Could have been a made-for-TV film.
I remember it was on TV constantly.
I remember too, yes. That's why I say that. Well, it was PG-13, so it was one of those horror films that you could, or
horror comedy horror film,
that you could show to kids or play on TV, and you wouldn't have to edit too much.
And it's funny too, because that's pretty much how Elvira, Cassandra Peterson, who's the actress who portrays Elvira, that's her character, her creation, part of the Groundlings, if I'm correct?
I believe so.
The Groundlings. As part of that group, which Paul Rubens also was a part of and created the, what would become the Pee Wee Herman character. Her humor's always been rather, not risque, despite the appearance. I think that's part of the appeal is that she has this voluptuous look to her, and she's a very beautiful woman, even without all that gear. Even now, and she's in her 50s at this point. But this is back then, she's in her 20s when she did this movie.
Portraying... like a vampiress.
Yeah, but she has that voluptuous look, that really risque look, but her humor is actually pretty clean.
Yeah?
There's a lot of innuendo and jokes.
But that's because they get their innuendos and jokes.
Yeah, but they're very clean innuendo. A kid would not notice this stuff.
Especially today's standards.
Yeah, this is not The Hangover. There's not dick and fart jokes that are very blatant. There are dick and fart jokes in the movie.
There's obviously jokes, revolving around her chest, and boobs and cleavage and stuff, but not to the point of anywhere what you would see, on even TV now.
But she has a lot of one-liners. This is an incredibly, well-crafted film for as cheesy as it is, as hokey as it is. It's intended to be.
One of her lines in the movie is grab a tool and start banging.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny too because she says it offhand. She's not cracking a joke. She's simply saying something off. It just comes off as awkward because it's her saying it. And that's that's the humor that she's known for too. Even when she was doing her late night TV monster flick, I can't remember what was it called exactly.
Oh,
one of the many iterations. She's done this for years on public access and other stations and whatnot. But I can't remember the name. And we're from Southern California, obviously. We're here in Orange County, and we were privy to seeing this stuff on TV when we had the opportunity, when we were old enough at least. Not have seen all of it, but reruns. Everyone loves reruns.
Yeah, I thought it was just, the Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, or, Presents or something like that.
Yeah, something along that lines. But it's so well done, Same with the Pee-wee with Pee-wee's Big Adventure. It falls in line. It's very similar. It's just slightly, we're doing this for the countdown, obviously, because it is a comedy horror, just like we did yesterday with, Idle Hands, but this is less so. This is less, overtly horror, but it has horror elements to it. She's the great niece of a pair of witches or warlocks or something along that lines. There's lots of magic and other weird monster stuff that pops up. Witches and other stuff that goes on in this kind of universe. So it is, it's a Halloween themed film. It is a comedy horror.
Basically, her great aunt dies and she
inherits everything.
She inherits her cookbook, which is actually a spell book. I'm doing air parentheses.
Yes.
There. And she inherits her house, which pisses off her uncle, who's a warlock.
Who wants everything. He specifically wants that book.
Which I like, actually, because there's a scene where Elvira's cooking dinner for her and the guy she's fallen for. And,
who's fallen for her, really?
Fallen for her, but she's kind of fallen for him, too.
Yeah.
And she cooks him a dinner out of the cookbook, or spell book.
Yeah.
And, a creature comes out of it and all this stuff. And I remember, the hand sticking out of the, it was like a soup or porridge thing looking.
Very, very, Beetlejuicy.
I was thinking Beetlejuice, yes, very similar.
It's very similar to that, and that's the kind of horror and the humor that's in this. It's really fun. And the reason that whole thing happens is because she's fallen, and
Daniel Green plays Bob Redding.
And anyone who watches you'll notice the reason even all these muck-ups happen is because she's not following the instructions. Like anyone who's not used to cooking, she's not following the instructions in the cookbook. She just kind of picks up whatever she thinks would make a quick substitute, or she doesn't know what the ingredients is, and she just makes do. And this shit starts happening, and it's fun. That's the whole film. That scene alone really describes what this film is. Everything is just happenstance. All of it, there's a basic plot here where, this wannabe actress, wannabe showgirl, falls into money, goes to a small town, and then everything that happens in that small town just kind of happens naturally because of circumstance.
She's extremely friendly and nice to everybody, and they're all just kind of jealous of her.
The adults hate her.
Granted, her uncle is helping feud the hatred towards her and suspicions from the town, but
it's a small town.
All the guys are instantly just like, oh yeah, sure, we'll help.
It's supposed to be a small town in the heart of America somewhere. It's just Main Street, USA. Actually shot on the backline Universal Studios, and the aunt's house is the same house from the Munsters. So you get this weird, contrast going on where it's this really conservative town, like Footloosey, and here comes this really sexy woman that's goth out and punk rockery, and they want her out of the town.
And she does make mistakes with the cooking and stuff, but she's not playing a ditz or anything. She's still following the normal Elvira character, and she's actually, she's using the powers later on and stuff like that.
She's just an average girl, an average woman who's just...
considering the Elvira character is a character that she created, and it basically went from, hey, check out this movie, and I'm gonna make, jokes and kind of, a few one-liners throughout the movie, to make an actual, this is her origin story, almost.
Yeah.
They really went far. I read even, Marvel Comics made an adaptation of it?
Yeah, there was apparently a magazine-size, so it wasn't comic book size, it was magazine-size comic book adaptation of the movie. I did not know that either. We found this out just looking up for trivia, and now I kind of want to hunt it down. I love this movie. I've loved this movie since I was a kid, and knowing that, and one of the things I really regret so far is I have not gotten a chance to see her live. I've seen her on TV. I've never seen her act live, though. She's out here, for those who don't know, for years she was doing Halloween.
You never went to Haunt and saw her?
No, when I was a kid, when she was still doing
on an amazing.
When I was a kid, I never got a chance to go to Haunt. It was only while I was a kid when she was doing it for years. Right? 10 years or something like that.
She was doing it again.
Yeah, for the first time in a decade, she's finally come back to Halloween Haunt, and it's the only reason I want to go. And honestly, anyone who's gone to Haunt the last few years really knows that there's really no reason to go anymore. This is a way to put asses in seats. And I kind of want to spend the money just to go see her. Fuck the rest of the Haunt. I really want to see Elvira. And for 30 years, she's been a draw like that.
It's worth it. She puts on a really good show.
So for those of you who are listening and have this opportunity, if you're in the Southern California area, give it a shot. Go out to Halloween Haunt at Knott's Berry Farm and check out Elvira. Not Scary Farm. And check out Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, live in person for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, I heard that she was coming back to perform. I would always, when I went to Haunt, would wait for both shows, because she always put on a damn good show. And,
right?
She seems to give it her all every performance, Same with the movie. For someone who, she had been in front of camera and stuff like that, to be the star of a movie and be able to carry it, she did very, very well. It's very enjoyable. And, another little tidbit, she actually auditioned for the role of Ginger Grant, for the third Gilligan's Island television movie, which would have been a really interesting, and this was before she was offered the horror position. If she had got that role, granted it was just, the television movie, it would have made an image, I think, that I don't know if she would have been able to do the whole Elvira, That's true. It gave her the opportunity to do it, and,
It's funny too because when people think about this is in conjunction because the movie starts off with her doing her role as Elvira, the TV performer. You know, she's doing her thing, she's making fun of the movies, and oddly enough, she, you know, it said right there that she auditioned back in 1981.
Mm-hmm.
She was a personality on the radio station since '82, and she's been doing the TV stuff for a while. When people think about rifting movies, they think about Mystery Science Theater. Mystery Science Theater didn't start until, 88, 89? She'd been doing it for years beforehand. So she was kind of like a pioneer in that kind of stuff, too. So the full gimmick, the whole persona, her and Paul Rubens were really pushing that kind of stuff. You know, Andy Kaufman did that for a long time, too.
Yeah.
Doing those kind of, the performance art kind of side of comedy. And she was doing the TV thing a good 5 years more before Mystery Science Theater. And this movie doing comedy horror a long time before, just about anyone else.
It was, Elvira, it was Movie Macabre, I believe is what it was.
Movie Macabre, yeah, Macabre, yes.
Yes. Weekend horror show called Fright Night as well.
If only I had the option to see that. And
which actually,
it's the name of a movie known as Fright Night.
I don't know what the exact dates are, but I know if you look it up, I was reading online that I believe it's Hulu is going to let Elvira actually take over for 13 nights.
Yes.
And she's going to,
she's back, people.
Come in and do some movies and stuff like that. And she'll actually open up the movies and host. And then she'll actually get to talk about the movies as well. So, and it's kind of fun to have her like little, I believe they used to have little balloons of stuff, like her, pop up in the side of the movie.
Yeah, like VH1 bubbles. Yeah, that's what they're supposed to have.
Exactly, yeah. And it definitely, it adds to some of those older horror films, too.
Those old horror movies really don't hold up because these are the drive-in movies. These are the movies that kids went to watch movies. Not really to watch movies, but they went there to go make out and fool around in the car. That was the whole point of those movies. Matinees. They were not meant to be really good, but they're entertaining as hell when you have someone like Elvira making jokes throughout the whole time, throughout the whole film.
So, according to Wikipedia or IMDb, they gave this a 6.3 on a scale of 1 to 10. What would you give it?
I give IMDb a 0 for their rating system. Apparently, this is easily an 8.5 for a horror comedy. For just a comedy in general, it's a really good comedy, especially one that's lasted this long from the 80s. That wasn't one like the big hit comedies from back then. But it's also very clean. We were saying it's PG-13. Anyone could watch this. We've been watching this since we were kids. It came out on TV all the time, and I don't think it was actually edited except for time. I don't think they edited it for content. Because I remember seeing it on VHS and on TV a lot, and I can't remember anything really being different.
I'll give it an 8.5 as well. And that's because there's no movie like it. And
there's not one movie.
And her character, Elvira, is so iconic now. I've been watching her since I was a kid, seeing her at Knott's and stuff like that.
30 years, man.
And the movie doesn't get old. I still enjoy it. I still laugh at parts. And, for those of you wondering, since I was mentioning the Hulu stuff, that actually started yesterday, 2 days ago, October 19th.
Oh, wow. Really?
And, some of the movies that they're going to be doing is Cannibal Women in the Avocado Jungle of Death, Puppet Master, Demonic Toys, Hobgoblins, The Ginger Dead Man, Doll Man, Oblivion, Evil Bong, which is a favorite of mine, Seed People, and Night of the Living Dead.
Wow,
just to name a few.
They're not messing around with this. They're not just taking a bunch of shitty 50s and 60s horror films. They're taking some classics here too. Well, semi-classics for most of them. There's a couple classics in there.
So October 19th was the day it started, and it goes till Halloween.
Ooh.
And it's all on Hulu.
It's all on Hulu, so be sure to watch it. Check out, if you have the opportunity, see Elvira live at Halloween Horror Nights. Or not Horror Nights, sorry, no, bad. Oh, slap on the wrist. No,
Halloween Haunt.
Halloween Haunt, yes.
Wish she was at Horror Nights.
Yeah, man, I would have been there all night long.
All night
yes.
long. All night. Yes, well, I think that's going to wrap it up for this episode.
Yes, kiddies. So, this is Steve Arviso.
And Charles Musick.
And remember, kiddies, unpleasant dreams.